Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916Company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Say, do you remember when Audemars Piguet made dress watches that looked this good? On the one hand, it seems like it was just yesterday. On the other hand, it seems like we're looking at ancient history here. But the problem was never with the Jules Audemars line. Those were beautiful. It was Audemars Piguet's inability to market something that wasn't a royal oak. So this, the Jules Audemars Gstaad Classic Chronograph, may represent the best of the discontinued line. And I have to say, with 250 pieces made for the 2011 model year, they made too few. This should have been the face of the collection, not a limited edition. Let's take a look at what modern-day Audemars Piguet buyers are missing. So the watch in 41 millimeters, of course, is grade 5 titanium. It has some rose gold accenting, but that amounts to the dial and the start-stop trigger. Everything else here is grade 5 tie. We have polish, we have satination. It's 41 in diameter, 12.9 millimeters thick, despite being a modular chronograph, and 47.1 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip with a nice wide and proportional 21 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. Now, throwing the watch on the wrist, it's big. It's big, but it's not heavy because it's made of titanium. If there were a 38 millimeter version of this watch, I think it probably would have conquered the world. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters circumference, this wears nicely. So I'd recommend it for wrists my size or larger. Now, you can see in profile, it will fit easily underneath a cuff, so no problems right there. A comfortable watch, you can see down the barrel. The lugs are actually inboard of the edge of my wrist, raising the possibility that a 15 centimeter wrist might also be able to wear it. Being largely titanium, it is quite light. Taking a look at the strap, you can see AP went all out for this distantly automotive-themed edition. The Gstaad Classic might mean nothing to you. It's an automotive event, but this has the feel of a great 1950s or 60s driver's chronograph, or even some of the upholstery or gloves that would be associated with the roadsters of the 50s and 60s, the kind of cars you would see at the Gstaad Classic. Perhaps even some interwar classics. Well, this cross-hatching looks fantastic, and notice the subtlety of the contrast between the off-white flanking stitches and then the cross-hatching in gray. Taking another look at the opposite side, you can see AP creates lugs that are drilled relatively close to the case to make for better fit, so curved spring bars are used to prevent any impediment to the motion of the strap. The buckle is also titanium. Now, it's a satin finish, and you can see that it's the AP logo style friction fit clasp internally. It snaps shut and stays shut resolutely. These lugs, welded on and beautifully manufactured. Look at the attention to detail here. You get this vertical satination on the lugs and then longitudinal satination on the flank of the case. The tops of the lugs are polished, and then the bezel, which is slightly stepped in to visually thin the watch, that is also polished. We have shoulders to the chronograph pushers. You can see that their center line is above the crown because this is a module on top of an automatic base. But the automatic base here is not a JLC. This is AP's own. So you're looking at the 3120 in this application. What you're looking at is a combination known as the 3124 and the 3841. So it's the AP automatic base, and then it is a Dubois de Praz vertical clutch chronograph module on the dial side. So because of the vertical clutch, there's no play in the engagement, so it starts seamlessly without any jump or stagger. Also, it has a really nice crisp feel to it. The tuning of the engagement mechanism, super sharp. Now, of course, because this is an AP 3124 base, bidirectional automatic winding with ceramic bearings for greater efficiency. It's got a 55 to 60 hour power reserve. You can see it's a 59 joule movement because it is a modular complication. It's got a lot of joules. It's got a full balance bridge in a batwing-like form and a Gyromax style free-sprung balance. Those two features in tandem making for a very shock-resistant movement, and that makes sense since this movement was originally developed with the Royal Oak offshore in mind. Finishing is a combination of manual and mechanical, but it's attractive and it's worthy of the Audemars Piguet name. It lives up to what you would expect from an AP. 3 hertz beat rate, again, 55 to 60 hour power reserve, a 22 karat winding mass featuring the coats of arms of the Audemars and Piguet families, reminding you that AP is the oldest Swiss watchmaker since 1875, still owned and run by the founding families. You can see the Gstaad Classic logo ghosted and metallized onto the case back. We also have a stop seconds function because this is an AP 3124 base, so you have the ability to stop the seconds hand if you want to synchronize to a reference time. The dial is a lovely gray with rose rose gold numerals. And then you can see that there are polished rose gold chapter rings for the sunken sub-registers. And it's got a nice vintage twin register display, which is a better match for the kind of cars featured in the Gstaad Classic than a more modern Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Porsche style sports or supercar. We've also got applique rose gold numerals and lovely vintage style hands. Of course, we have a little bit of a pear style or spade style hour hand, and then an assegai or spear style minute hand. We have a lovely red varnished counterweighted seconds hand for the chronograph, and you can see we've got a scale out board featuring a brushed metal track that is a tachometric scale for gauging the speed of a car over a kilometer, for an example, because it is base 1000. You can also see that it's got a lovely gray base with a few highlights of white and red, perhaps the most attractive watch ever to bear the Jules Audemars name. And it is 20 meters water resistant, so you're not going to want to take this one swimming or anything, but it can deal with inadvertent rain exposure or splashes while washing your hand. One nice feature that I like, how the lugs are allowed to ride up the side of the bezel a little bit so that the watch can still be fairly thin, but the bezel doesn't crop the top of the lugs. It's a little trick of the eye that Swiss watch designers often use. Jules Audemars, I miss you, and not just the man, but the watch line named after him. These timepieces had a lot of potential, and I feel like it was untapped potential. If all of them had been this attractive, we might still have that collection, and the code 1159 would be nothing but a twinkle in Francois Henri's eye. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.